I'm finally done giving you Back to the Future fatigue. I still miss it though. The past 2 vlogs have just been Back to the Future, 5 trips in total in those vlogs. I understand that was a lot, which is why I smushed it into 2 vlogs. But considering it is now the 16th of April, there is no more Back to the Future at the Adelphi to go to. It is, like I said, the 16th. Tomorrow, on the 17th, I'm getting up very, very early to go to Chessington World of Adventures. And then I'm seeing Oliver at the Gielgud Theatre in the evening at 7:30. I am so excited for this show. I've heard so many great things about it. I'm not too well versed in the plot of Oliver. I remember doing it kind of in English in school, but not really. So I'm actually really excited to get stuck in. I've also never been to the Gielgud before, and I've heard it's a great venue, so I'm very happy. Very pricey show though. I have got a cheap seat. It was £35. It's way up in the gods, but Seatplan has assured me that it's fine. So let's hope. I've got a day of work to do before I go tomorrow, but I just wanted to start the vlog now because I don't think I will be this energetic at 6 in the morning. As you might know, I went to quite a few theme parks with Will last year. I documented some of it. We did a whole stay over at Alton Towers, which I'm actually kind of sad I didn't document at all, because it was my first time there and I had such a good time. But this will be my first solo trip to a theme park, and Chessington is very easy to get to from London. Literally, you just hop on a train to Chessington South and then it's just a walk down the road. And hopefully, if things go to plan, this will be my first ride on Chessington's Vampire. I've been to Chessington the most out of any theme park in the UK, and I still haven't been on Vampire. The reason is because, you know, when I went to Chessington a lot, it was when I was a child, because my auntie still does and did live near the park. But my family aren't the biggest coaster nerds like me, so I never got a chance to experience it. So hopefully it will be my first ride tomorrow, but you will see that in just a second. So yeah, I will catch you when I'm either on the train or at Chessington World of Adventures. See you there! I succeeded in taking my very early train over to London Waterloo, where I changed over to Chessington South, and then it was just a quick walk over to the World of Adventures resort. I accidentally got early hotel entry, which means I probably could have gotten an early ride on Mandrill Mayhem, but I didn't really know that was an option for me. They did give me the hotel wristband though, so I probably could have cheated the system. Anyway, after getting some very clean off-ride shots of this coaster and of the general area, which I absolutely love, I headed over to Vampire, where I managed to get the second train of the day. Look, there's it testing. I was so excited, and the queue was so short by the time I got there. It was absolutely lovely. Do I think that roller coaster would kill a small Victorian child? Yes. The reason I'm making this joke is because I'm going to Oliver tonight. You know those memes? What would kill a Victorian child? Okay, I'm gonna go to Mandrill. Do you know what? I think that Mandrill might be my favourite in the park. As good as Vampire is, I love wing coasters. Swan at Thorpe Park is so good. This one kind of clears it in my opinion. I absolutely love it. We'll definitely be getting on this later today. There is something so awfully humbling about going on the Gruffalo solo. I did get a boat to myself. They usually do that anyway if you're a pair. So I wasn't too worried that I'd be stuck with a family, because then that would have been very awkward. The fountains weren't on. That's like one of the only reasons I go on this ride. The fountains weren't working. So much stuff wasn't working actually, but I got this shot of the drop. Fucking terrifying, might I add. I went on Dragon's Fury after that. I only went on Dragon's Fury once because it was actually the longest queue in the park, but that's because the put-through rate is so slow. It's not their fault, there is a weight limit on the ride, but I did go to Vampire afterwards, and then I went over to Tomb Blaster. I love this dark ride. I love partaking in the
gun laser wars. It's very, very fun, and I love the theming in the queue line. It's absolutely incredible. And yeah, I love a dark ride because it's nice and cool. It wasn't too hot outside, but it was hot enough that I wanted to go inside. You know what I'm saying? After this, I did 2 more rides on Vampire, pretty much back to back because the queue was so short coming to the end of the day, and then I took a very, very quick walk-on ride on Croc Drop. I love a drop tower. This one for me is a little too short and it wasn't spinning today. But considering it was walk-on and I had about a 5-minute window before I had to leave, I thought what the hell, and then obviously I arrived at the Gielgud Theatre about an hour later. This is the Gielgud, I absolutely love it, it's so gorgeous with its neighbour Les Mis, and I was up in the Grand Circle H23, which actually really wasn't a bad seat, just a bit far away.
Hey guys, it's already the interval. I'm sorry I'm coming to you here. It was very busy. I got into London slightly later than I wanted to, but I've shown you my seat view by now, and this gorgeous theatre, I've never been in here before, it's amazing. And for being in the Grand Circle, it's actually pretty close to the stage. I can read expressions, I can see everything, and the set and the costumes and the acting, it's all so wonderful. Literally, I cannot pick out a single person to speak about because everyone is so good. Like, I cannot wait to do a review of this. I already want to book again. I'm thinking about doing it when I go to Comic-Con now because I've been wanting to figure out what show I'm gonna go to the day before Comic-Con. This is it. The little boy playing Oliver Twist is the cutest little kid I ever seen in my life. All the child performers are so talented. It's actually crazy. I think the last time I saw a very child-heavy production was School of Rock. So that is really refreshing to see. The acting and the dancing, it's very OTT, over the top, but it really works for the style of the show. And I'm having a great time, it's really fun and it's so believable. Like, I'm sat there and I'm there, you know? So yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. This might be one of my new favourite shows in the West End. I cannot believe I didn't come here sooner. I'm gonna head back inside, enjoy Act 2. I cannot wait to talk about this. So, I will see you later.
Be an Elliot vlog without Book of Mormon? The answer is no. Literally the day after I went to Chessington and Oliver, myself and Will got very affordable front row tickets to Book of Mormon. So we thought, what the hell? Came to London at about 3 p.m, and watched the show, and this was actually a really big treat for me because we had Ross McKenna on as Elder Cunningham, who's the new first cover. Briefly, I do just want to talk about Ross's performance. He was incredibly funny. I have always thought of Elder Cunningham as a neurodivergent character, myself being autistic as well. And whilst it's not confirmed, it might be, I guess you could say, my headcanon, and the headcanon of many, actually, and I really liked how Ross played it off. He's always trying to copy the other elders, their mannerisms, how they talk, especially when he's with Elder Price, but I even noticed it with the background elders as well. Man Up is one of my favourite songs in the show, and he absolutely killed it. I loved watching his energy on that stage. It was so, so good, and his relationship with Reagan as Nabelungi was just so, so adorable, and Baptize Me is one of my favourite songs, and he really made it his own, and it was just incredible. I love seeing new performers, and the fact that I got to see him on chance on a random day when we just decided to go, it was really a treat, and he's a lovely guy, so if you can see him, I would totally recommend it.
I would gather you're still watching this video because you want to know my thoughts on the Oliver production at the Gielgud Theatre. Well, I'm here to tell you that I absolutely loved it. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did, but this show was just phenomenal. I have gone since, and I'm going tomorrow because it's the start of Comic-Con weekend tomorrow. When in Rome, you know? Overall, I just want to say how immersive and believable this show is, that it's being set in the 1830s, that these characters are real and they're going through this, and just all the performances were so convincing and so, so amazing, especially from the child cast. The set, the sight, the smell, the costumes, even from the circle, which is where I was the first time I saw it. You'll see where I was the second time. But even from all the way up there, everything was just so stunning, and you still felt immersed even from being so far back. Every actor, and I am gonna obviously talk about more in detail, every actor just becomes the character. It's really hard to describe because I know that's an actor's job, right? But this show, it was just so, so, so immersive. You know, I wasn't, like, too familiar with the story of Oliver. I knew some of the beats, but not entirely the whole thing. And just the grittiness and the brutality of it is very Dickens. And yeah, I loved the way they executed this production. Oliver and the kids are so, so adorable. You can tell that they're so well looked after, and they love performing next to the adults so, so much, and they must get on so well backstage. They're just so talented, and they make everything look so effortless, and it's so clear that they are having the time in their lives. And they're just so adorable, especially the actors that play Oliver. I think there's about 5 of them, and I'm pretty sure I've seen 2 different ones so far. But they are just so amazing. The child's vocals in this show, they are unmatched. They are so, so talented. And, you know, every time Oliver comes on stage, or the first time he comes on stage, the audience is immediately in love, and I love that. Now, obviously, the kids don't do 8 shows a week. I'm pretty sure they actually have 3 casts of kids that they rotate throughout the week. But it's so clear that they are having the time of their lives, and I just love watching that. Speaking of the kids in Oliver, obviously you can't have the kids in Oliver without Mr. Fagin. So Fagin is played by Simon Lipkin. No notes. I mean, I have notes, but no notes. Firstly, it's very clear that the kids absolutely adore him, and their relationship on stage together is so cute. But the first thing I wanted to touch on with Fagin is his Jewish past. Well, he's still Jewish in this production, but the thing I wanted to point out is the costume. Now, I am not Jewish myself, and I am going to touch very lightly on this because I don't want to come across as someone who is uneducated, but the costume in the new revival is far less harmful to Jewish stereotypes than how Fagin has been portrayed in the past, and much less a mockery of Jewish people. I'm just glad that they made that change to make him a more respectable character. And don't quote me on this, but I believe Simon is Jewish as well, and having a Jewish actor portray Fagin is a step in the right direction, and it's so amazing. So who is Mr. Fagin? Well, he's an adult, a grown man, who has a gang of pickpocket kids. And they are like his kids, they're like his family. He loves them like they're his own. And he's very sweet on them, and, you know, he is a criminal, but he has a good heart, and I think that's where the complication with his character comes from. He's a very complicated character, and that's why I love him so much, because he's just, like, Simon, the way he portrays him is complicated, like the character is, and I think that's very important to sort of keep the audience on their toes a little bit. You know, he cares about these kids, he's very, very parental, but he's also very brooding and unsettling at times, and there is a point where he threatens Oliver, but, you know, he apologises afterwards for his behaviour, and then he's very sweet on him, and you can tell that even though he's not the best guy around, there are worse. Trust me, there are worse. If you haven't seen Oliver, we'll get on to the worst. He has bad morals, but he has a good heart deep down, and I think that's why he's such a good character, because he cares, you know, he cares about his line of work, and he cares about keeping these kids fed and warm, and, you know, he's a nice guy, all things considered. But Simon is extremely entertaining. His ad-libbing and his improv in some scenes is incredible. He's very funny and entertaining, and his vocals are just amazing. And like I said, his relationship with the kids on stage is so wonderful, and it's so sweet, and it's so nice to watch. So yeah, I really love Simon Lipkin as Fagin, and he is also the sweetest man in the world. I have met him since, and I did some Oliver art, which you'll see in the next video, because no spoilers here, but he's such a sweet guy, and yeah, he was incredible. Next, I'm going to move on to Aaron McGregor as the Artful Dodger. So the Artful Dodger in this production, at least I think, is supposed to be a little older than the other kids. Me personally, I think in this production, Dodger's supposed to be somewhere between like 15 and 20. In that sort of region of like older teen. So he is basically Fagin's right hand, which I actually really love. I love this change to make Dodger older because he's more of a mentor to the other kids. Now, I'm not gonna do the accent, but when Dodger picks up Oliver, before we go into one of the most famous songs from the show, Consider Yourself, which is amazing, Dodger says, "Ain't you never seen the toff?" And the reason I love this line is at the very end of the show, after everything has just gone to shit, Dodger repeats that line to Fagin, and they hug and they exit the stage. I love that, because we see, you know, the first time he says that line, he's picking up Oliver to bring him into Fagin's gang, and then at the end, Fagin's lost and Fagin's alone, and Dodger picks him up. Like, I imagine Fagin picked up Dodger to begin with. That's another reason why I love that they made him older, because it seems like he was Fagin's first. And I think that just adds a nice other layer to the story and their relationship. I absolutely love Dodger's costume. He stands out so much in that blue coat. And you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Newsies, where Jack was the only one in red. I had a problem with that just because it looked so stark against everyone else, and I wish they had toned it down to a blue shirt. But here it works because everyone else is in sort of tan, muddy sort of colours, and Dodger's in this bright blue coat, and he's showing Oliver around, and it's just so nice. The costume is so good. And it stands out in the way that Dodger wants to stand out, you know, he's very cocky, in a humble way, because he is very kind and he has a huge heart. And yeah, I absolutely loved Aaron. I would have never guessed that the man was Scottish until he spoke to me. I wasn't thinking he was Cockney either. I thought he was British. The accent's amazing. You can absolutely tell he has a blast every time he does this show, and he has such great stage presence, such great vocals. Everything about him is so endearing, and I absolutely loved him. Next, I'm going to talk about Bill and Nancy. I'm actually going to talk about them as a pair because it makes more sense in my head. So we had Aaron Sidwell and Ava Brennan as our Bill and Nancy. Bill and Nancy are some of the standout characters in this show for me. And when I said we'd get to the worst, Bill Sikes is the worst. Bill Sikes is one of Fagin's associates in his little pickpocketing ring. Bill is brutal. He's a brutal, merciless man who is very threatening, and he's very possessive, especially of Nancy. And spoilers ahead, because this is going to touch on the actor's overall performance, Bill Sikes kills Nancy. So he strangles her under London Bridge, and his breakdown, his reaction to doing that is such a powerful shift from what we've seen of him. And it really shows that deep down he did love her, that he was just so driven by his madness and insanity and his lust for being something so much bigger that he just lost it. Is it a toxic relationship? 100%. But the shift and the conflict and the inner turmoil that he experiences before he himself gets shot, it was such an incredible performance. Aaron is so good at being that possessive, evil guy. That brutality before he realizes what he's done is such a powerful performance, and he killed it. Literally. Like, I shouldn't call Nancy an it. Nancy is stunning. I absolutely loved Ava. She's so good in this role. She has such an amazing voice. As Long as He Needs Me is such an incredible song. It's so powerful. It's her big solo number about Bill Sikes. And as possessive of her as he is, she still tries to be strong. She still tries to be independent. But at the end of the day, she's still loyal to him because she's scared. You can really see that inner turmoil and that tear between her and her own morals and what Bill Sikes wants of her. Both of these performances were amazing. Some of the standouts, I will say, for this show. Their relationship on stage is as brutal as it can get, but I absolutely loved the true exploration of those characters that I can see those actors did. Both their performances were stunning. I absolutely loved them. And like I said, so immersive and so believable. It's just like they become them. I don't know how to explain it without sounding rude to literally any other production I've seen. But the actors in this just... they are in Victorian London, you know? Like, it's crazy. Just see it for yourself and you will understand what I'm talking about. Speaking of the actors, while I will not go in depth on absolutely everyone, I do want to give credit to the rest of the supporting cast, because everyone in this show... I think you know this already, everyone in this show is so talented, so I just wanted to give a shout out to the supporting adult cast. So we have Oscar Conlon-Murray as Mr. Bumble. Such a funny guy, and he's so amazing on stage. He has such a good presence, and he is Mr. Bumble. We have Katie Seacombe as Widow Corney. She is absolutely fucking hilarious. I absolutely love her so much. Her on-stage relationship with Oscar, Mr. Bumble, is so funny. Their scenes together are amazing. Stephen Matthews and Jamie Burkett play Mr. and Mrs. Sowerberry, the creepy funeral couple that Oliver gets sold to at the beginning. Creepy is the right word. These guys are incredible. Honestly, That's Your Funeral has become one of my favourite songs in the show. Sorry, Mickey Joe Theatre. I did see your video about the worst songs in musical theatre. I actually love That's Your Funeral. I think it's fun. I think it's dark and it's spooky. Kind of gives Beetlejuice vibes, not gonna lie. Then we have Philip Franks as Mr. Brownlow. He is so kind and so gentle and such a warming presence in Oliver's life. If you don't know the twist, he ends up... Twist. Oliver Twist. You know what, I'm gonna end this video. I'm gonna end this video on that. And I will also add that all of these lovely adults double up as ensemble members throughout the show. And Stephen Matthews also plays a doctor in Act 2. Going from a funeral director to a doctor, I love the irony. So yeah, those were my thoughts on Oliver at the Gielgud. As you can tell, I fell in love with this show from the second it started, so I'm very excited to go again, and I'm very excited to show you where I was sitting in the next video. Speaking of the next video though, it will be Comic-Con weekend. I'm actually leaving today as I'm filming this, just so I could get this video up before I start filming for that, because it's going to be a long weekend, but it's going to be fun, and I hope you enjoy the video. But for now, I will see you then. Bye bye.